Bonjour et bienvenue dans cette vidéo. C'est Evan du site reussirlegmat.com et aujourd'hui on va résoudre un problème de sentence correction du livre officiel de GMAT.
Okay, so let's get into this one. Like Rousseau, Tolstoi rebelled against the unnatural complexity of human relations in modern society. What we have here is actually a question that's repeated over and over again in the GMAT. So if you learn how to do it once, you should be able to answer it again and again. It comes down to choosing between the words like and as and understanding their meaning. So let's have a quick look at that. This is in the context of comparisons. So when we're using like and as comparative words, as has other uses that we can talk about another time. But here when we talk about comparisons, what you need to know is that like should be followed by a noun and as should be followed by a clause. So in a like comparison, you're going to be looking at two nouns. In an as comparison, you're going to have a verb. So let's see. In A, we have like Rousseau, Tolstoi. So we're comparing, first of all, two people here. That seems to be okay. So in terms of the logic of the comparison, it seems like a logical comparison. In terms of doing things correctly for like, we should be comparing two nouns. Rousseau is a noun, as is Tolstoi. So everything seems to be pretty much okay in A. Let's hold on to it. Let's look at B. Like Rousseau, Tolstoi's rebellion. So here, it's not the problem isn't so much the difference between like and as. The problem in B is the fact that we're not comparing like things. So we're comparing Rousseau, who's a person, to a rebellion, because this here is a possessive. It's not a noun, it's an adjective. It's giving us more information about the word rebellion, about the noun rebellion. It's Tolstoi's rebellion. But we're not allowed to do that because comparisons need to be logical. We need to compare like things. We can't compare Rousseau, the person, to a rebellion. It doesn't make sense. So for that reason, B is out. It's going to be wrong. What about C? As Rousseau, Tolstoi rebelled. Well, what have we got after as? We've got a noun. We should have a clause after as I said here. We want a clause to be coming after as, so that's no good. Let's just look at this a little bit deeper. So as Rousseau, what are we comparing? Tolstoi rebelled against the natural complexity of human relations in modern society. For this to be correct, we would have to say as Rousseau did, or as Rousseau rebelled, Tolstoi rebelled. We would need a verb after Rousseau, so C is going to be wrong. There has to be a verb because that would create a clause, and that's what we need. D, as did Rousseau. There we go. So that part seems good, right? We've got the verb after as, and we've got a noun too, so we've got a clause there. So as did Rousseau, Tolstoi's rebellion was. Now, this is where the problem comes in. Tolstoi's rebellion was. What we're comparing is this isn't so much a problem of as versus like. This is a problem of the sense of the sentence. So comparisons need to be logical, as we've already said, and this is not logical because what are we comparing here? Well, we're comparing what Rousseau did to what Tolstoi's rebellion was. Those things aren't logically comparable. Excuse me. They're not logically comparable. So that's going to make D incorrect. What about E? We're saying Tolstoi's rebellion, as Rousseau's, was. So it seems that there's a couple of problems here. First of all, we're comparing Tolstoi's rebellion to Rousseau's rebellion. So it is somewhat correct that in terms of what we're comparing like things. It's implied here that we're talking about a rebellion. So that's not the problem. But we know that rebellion is a noun. So if rebellion is a noun, well, we're going to need to compare them with the word like. So that's going to make E incorrect. It needs to use like and not as it does. E is wrong. So that leaves us with A again as our answer. So this is, as I said, a typical GMAT question. It comes up again and again. It comes up with the word like. It can also be often with the word unlike. And so make sure that when you have this kind of comparison that you're comparing nouns, and also anytime you have a comparison, the comparison has to be logical. So A is our answer.
In order to help you go further in your preparation, I've created a video course on the GMAT sentence correction section for you. This course will teach you everything that you need to know in order to be a successful test taker in this section. So first we'll start off by looking at the basics of English to get you up to speed. We'll also include parts of speech there. Then we'll get into subject-verb agreement. We'll also look at common idioms and comparisons. After that, we'll do pronouns and modifiers, and we'll also look at common misplaced modifiers so that you can answer questions on modifiers easily. Finally, we'll look at tenses, conditionals, and word choices. We'll use all we've learned there to do 70 realistic GMAT style questions of varying difficulties, and I'll show you how a successful test taker solves questions step by step. I'm sure that if you work hard on this course, you'll see a dramatic increase in your GMAT score. To get access to the videos, I invite you to click on the link below, and I'll see you in a few minutes.